Hammer that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, give that bell icon a slap to turn on channel notifications. Let's get ready. We got our gloves, we have our tools, and we're motivated to get this job done and get this car running. Okay, you can see my little tool that I'm trying to use, or am using to remove the tiny bolt that is on the tensioner pulley that's mounted to the engine block. It works actually pretty well. Like I said, it's 8mm, 7mm. Basically, I've used an Allen key, angled Allen key, L-shaped wrench, and just chopped a little bit with a grinder to get just into here, and then basically turn that bolt out from the engine, because you can see not a heck of a lot of space, even when I've loosened the bottom engine mount and the the lower control arm ball joint from the wheel hub assembly. Not a lot of play, so you just need to be patient and take your time. So we got the tensioner pulley out. That's the culprit right there. And with the tool that I made, using 7 or 8mm Allen key with my needle nose vice grips, just taped up the back and just carefully, slowly, patiently did this one thread at a time, because you've only really got between the housing of the pulley and the body of the vehicle maybe that much space, so not a lot. So I get enough of this top of the bolt out and use needle nose pliers to get it out the rest of the way. Big pain in the ass. If you ever are thinking about buying an older Fiat, don't, because this is a pain in the ass. Okay, I don't know if you can see it well enough, but you can see where the extension of my 3/8 drive is. I'll show you the tool setup that I've got, but basically I have a 2-inch short extension attached to my 13mm socket, and then I have a swivel attached to the back of the 2-inch extension, and then attached to the back of the swivel I have a 6-inch 3/8 drive extension, and I'm going to plug in another extension and then use air tools to carefully, or an air ratchet to carefully take that top bolt out. It's tricky and it is a small space to work with, but this is what you're going to have to do to get that top bolt off of the alternator. So let's try it and see how it works. There. Okay, we got the top bolt out, and now, as you can see, by taking off the ball joint from the wheel housing and onto where the drive shaft is with the CV joints, we just have to move it very, very slightly and carefully, and we can pop that old alternator out. The top is tricky, and you can see what I've done is removed the bottom mounting bolt. Remember, it's 17-inch nut and 17-inch bolt head. Very carefully, I've taken a pry bar and moved the engine back from this position, and put a screwdriver just under the flange from the exhaust manifold to the tailpipe and catalytic converter assembly under the cross member bracket. Very carefully put a screwdriver here and just slid it through over top, and then put a block in so it goes between the body pan and the flange of the exhaust system. Being mindful of not overextending this piece. It basically is a flexible part of the exhaust system. It allows flex for the pipe, for the first hook, and then the hooks in the back or hangers for the exhaust system. Be very careful not to overextend this or move too fast. These are brittle and they're meant to be flexible to a point, so don't get too aggressive with it. By doing this, it gives you the space you need to get inside the engine compartment and then get this alternator out. If you don't do this, you will not get this alternator out. All right, so we were able to get the alternator out, finally. And we have a lot of space, so we can easily put the other one back in. And I'll show you the process to put the new alternator back in place, because you've got to do a few more things before the alternator goes in and gets bolted onto the engine. This is the old alternator. As you can see, the housing is cracked, totally seized. This should spin freely, but it's totally seized. Contact points at the back are all burned. The rotor system inside is all seized up. When you get your new alternator, just check the configuration, bolt patterns, and everything else. Typically, a good parts place will want a VIN number, then it can match exactly the replacement part. This is the new alternator. Good spin, everything's fine. And now, before you put it back in to the vehicle, this is 8mm and that's 10mm. You want to take these two nuts out because it's a real pain if you put everything back in and you have to unscrew these to reconnect the leads for the power and then the ground for the alternator. So take these two out, then we go to putting the alternator back into the engine and bolting everything back up.
Hammer that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and give that bell icon a slap to turn on channel notifications.